let's go here. Okay. This is a slightly tidied up picture of the message. So what it actually says is this is a reign period called Yongyuan. These two characters, Chinese characters.
Right.
So if some of your guests here are Chinese, they will reckon Yongyuan. So we suspect this is a Han Dynasty crossbow. So let's get our book out. Here's my little handbook. Okay. Oh, this one. Okay. All right. Yeah. There's still that camera. So I'll get my book out, and we find that indeed that there was a Yongyuan reign period here, and then it says year 13.
Okay.
All right. 13 year.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we go through the directory and we find that it says, oops, yeah, 13 year was 101 AD. So we know exactly what year this mechanism was made.
So this is like a bar. This is
AD. But then it says some.
It's like a barcode for the manufacturer.
Yes, this shows that it came out, and it actually says that it came out of the official military arms factory of the Han Dynasty. And the next interesting thing is, now most of it is saying which particular officials, the names of the officials who were involved in making it. But this is really interesting here. This says that it was a 4 Dan crossbow. Now, Dan was a measure, and it was 30 kilograms.
Okay.
So this was a 120 kilogram draw weight crossbow.
Goodness.
Yeah, but remember it's a crossbow.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to see. So forget any ideas about pulling a bow.
Yeah.
And we'll see now what this. It also gives the names of the person who did the drawings for it, who made the molds, the person who cast it, and then it said in the Great Han at the Linyo factory. That was where it was made. Now, here's a Han crossbow reproduction. So this is where your crossbow mechanism would have sat.
I see.
Inside this wooden stock.
Yes. Right.
The trigger would have been down here with the trigger guard. Okay. And then we have here, in crossbows, this would be called the prods. Now, there were various ways of making prods, and using a horn bow was the most rare.
Right.
Mostly they would be made of self-wood. Or self-wood, or a leaf spring made of bamboo.
Yes.
One interesting thing I've always been told by people in Southeast China who are still making crossbows like this is that once the string is drawn back here to the latch, the ends of the prods and the point where the string is attached form an equilateral triangle.
Really? Wow.
Okay, that's right. And they said that that is the correct way for making all crossbows. That when it's drawn, the distance from this is A, all right?
Yes.
Are you seeing my mouse pointer?
Yeah, on the mechanism, yes.
Okay. So here's A, here's B, here's C, all right?
Right, yeah.
If this is drawn back to B, then A, B, C is an equilateral triangle.
Got you, yes.
The length of the sides is equal.
Interesting.
So we can see here, this is, sorry, this is a bit of a nuisance, this, but I don't know that I can get rid of this. Anyway, this shows the crossbow mechanism built into the wood.
Yeah.
The metal casing, which I'm now putting here. This, are you seeing the image of me as well?
Yes.
Okay, in the little window, right?
Yes, correct.
This metal casing was vital because the tension of all of these parts couldn't just go directly transmitted into the wood. So it had to be there to allow the tension to be spread evenly over the wood.
Yes.
And then here's the mechanism. Here it is latched, and this annoying thing is not letting me show you where it's latched. And then when you release the trigger, the teeth holding the string come down. The string is released. Okay.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is if you angle this whole crossbow down and pull the string back up against this part,
yes,
it will automatically latch it underneath.
Ah, okay, yes, okay, like a lever, it pushes the top. Yes, okay.
Yeah. Here you can see how it does it. All right. If you're pushing against here,
yes,
it's rotating and coming up.
Yes.
This peg here is pushing that one up,
yes,
and this is coming forward, and they will neatly snap into place.
Interesting. Is this something that the hand would came up with themselves, or do you think they were influenced from
Han, as in the Han Dynasty? No, it was earlier. It was at least 200 years earlier than the Han Dynasty. Now, this is an actual hand crossbow in my collection.
Wow.
Particularly well-preserved one. So what you're seeing here is the grip, and it's striking with all of these weapons that I have, and I see from the Han Dynasty that the hands of the people, the hand size of the people is quite small. This is really, I can't put my fist in there.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
So either you had the major part of your hand here and just two fingers in. You couldn't do a pistol grip here, that's certain.
Right.
So this would be the sighting mechanism. This is where you would hold the stock with the other hand.
Right.
This thing here is where a binding would hold the prods, and the prods went through this hole.
Okay, yes.
You with me?
Yes,
so the prods
go through there.
The prod down here, we can see how the mechanism is set into the wood. So it's all beautifully made. And, sorry, as you can see, it's also beautifully decorated.
Wow, a lot of detail. Oh, stunning.
Beautifully detailed. Absolutely stunning. Now, for anybody who is interested in making their own hand crossbow and using this as a decoration, let me tell you that this type of imagery is relating to death. It is relating to burials and the afterlife.
Right.
So this crossbow was buried as something to go with a body after death.
I see.
And by all means copy it, go for it. But just remember that you're not seeing something that similar, that shows what a living person's crossbow was like.
I see.
I mean, the one that was actually used would be like that, a plain thing.
Yes. Fascinating.
So also from my collection, this is a part of a censer. A censer is a thing for putting perfumed smoke in. And this shows typically how a crossbow was loaded with feet bracing the
Oh, I
prod.
see. He's pulling, yes.
Yeah. And it's just very tiny detail. But now the the first emperor of the Qin. There's the terracotta warriors.
Yes.
You've heard of them.
Absolutely.
So the terracotta warriors also have one terracotta warrior loading a crossbow, more or less like this.
Mm-hmm.
Always with one hand above and one hand below.
Mm.
Can you see that here?
Yes, I can actually see that. They've even put that detail on there.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
One would have normally thought both hands on top and you're pulling, much like you're rowing a boat, for example, an oar.
Yes. Maybe people thought that there was less likely to be an accident and a release, an unprepared release if you did it like that. I have no idea why, but it's a rather consistent thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's a hunter. These are both hunters with his kit.
Yeah.
And his crossbow over his shoulder.
Fascinating.
Also from the Han Dynasty. Normally you would also say, well, you wouldn't take a crossbow up on horseback, but this is a little tiny figure of a horseman, also with a crossbow up on his horse.
Mm-hmm.
And he's bracing it. He's actually sitting sideways.
He's bracing the bow on the horse.
Sitting sideways, and he's actually bracing the crossbow.
Wow. So that's a crossbow for horse, not even a traditional bow. Okay.
Not a traditional bow. It's definitely a crossbow. And then this is an image of a hunter with his dog, and this illustrates very clearly how the leaf spring prods were made.
Yes. Right. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't pay much attention to the scale here.
No.
And then this is a Ming Dynasty, much later, 1368 to 1644,
yes.
Ming Dynasty. And here we are showing how crossbows should be used in formation. Now here, they're bracing their crossbows using a cord under their feet.
Right. Wow.
But the technology hasn't changed very much, as you can see. There's a slightly different profile to the crossbow. Mm-hmm. And this is something I've also seen in South China. These prods are very, very roughly made just by bundles of bamboo.
I see. And they just wound together. Yeah.
Yes, that's not even a serious attempt to make a leaf spring mechanism like the previous one. You know, this is clearly a nice, tidy leaf spring. But this is a load of rubbish. And Ming Dynasty crossbows, the Ming came after the Mongols had invaded China and had their Yuan dynasty.
Right.
The Ming finally threw the Mongols out. But writers of the Ming dynasty say that the technology of crossbows have been completely lost. So these things, they didn't know how to make them.
I see.
And they made the latches of crossbows out of deer antler, which broke continuously. That was the complaint.
I see. Yeah, not strong enough.